afternoon. My name is Don Powell. I'm going to be your host this afternoon as we talk about Platicas and Photos family photographs. This is a project that came out of the UCLA's History and Geography project. I want to make abundantly clear that this is not mine and that it actually belongs to my good friend, Cindy Mata. Cindy went ahead and developed this during COVID-19 while we were all at home at the pandemic and sat with her mother and learned a lot about her personal family history. I think it's a really important and amazing project that allows our students to dive into their own personal histories and to learn and bring about those narratives within the history social science classroom. So we're going to take an opportunity right now to take a look at what that is and the opportunities available to her. So that's Cindy off to the left on the photo. And on the photo to the right is a blog that can give you kind of some more insight into the Platicas project itself. And so we're looking at a photo right here. And then, so what do we notice about this photograph? We're going to check all that applies. So a portrait, an action shot, an event, family, a selfie, pose, candid, unposed. Is it color? Is it black and white? So I'm seeing in the chat that it looks like we might have an action shot, might be a pose shot. It's definitely in color. Is there a caption or text? And no, so we don't have anything about that. The people, objects, and activities that you see. I see some people talking about that there's a boy who's holding up a fish that he's caught, and that there's some people in the background who are fishing, and that there's some buildings in the background, but then there's some rocks and some water. What do we think is going on? Also, let's just follow up that question real quickly with what makes you think that those things are going on there? What I'm seeing is a lot of people are thinking, boy caught a fish, that somebody caught a fish, and that it might be the child's first fish because they're young and the fish is relatively small. Why do we think this picture was taken? What was its purpose? To commemorate the first fish being caught? Okay. And what questions do you have about the people or event in the photo? Who's in the photo? Why is this photo being taken? What happened or what was going on at the time? And what questions might you have for the photographer? Why did they bother to take this photograph? I took the liberty of guessing what you guys might write in terms of some of those things. So we see that it might be posed. It's definitely a color shot. And there's no caption or text. Two people fishing, a kid holding up a fish, some buildings in the background, a bunch of rocks. A kid got a fish and he's proud because he's smiling and he's holding the pose. He's holding it as he poses for the picture to show that the kid caught a fish. Do they know the people in the background? Why was this fish important? Why does this fish matter? And who's the kid? So that's kind of step one, right? So we're having our students analyze a primary source or looking at that picture that they might bring in. We've got some stock photo or some stock questions that can be asked. Who took the photo? Where and when was it taken? What is happening historically in the world or in the country at the time the photo was taken? Two questions that are really important that we want to make sure that we get from this plática or this conversation is, how do you want me or other people to remember this person, this place, or this event? Why do you think this was important to capture? So after we're done with the plática, the kids are going to answer the question, what new information did they learn about their family from talking about this photo? So I am the one who took the photo. It was taken in 2020 right as the world began to start opening up again. It was taken down in the San Diego area, a small town right outside of San Diego. Carl, what is happening in the world at the time the photo was taken? Well, we were just starting to open back up again. It looked like we were going to get ready to start putting the pandemic behind us, and we were very excited to get out into the world again. So that was kind of what was happening in the country as well as all over the world. And the photo was taken because that is my son, Bryce, and it was his first fish that he had ever caught in our first family fishing trip ever. How do I want you or other people to remember this person, place, or event? I want them to remember that my son was really proud that he caught his first fish and that it was a family fishing expedition. We don't see in this photo, you don't see me, you don't see my girlfriend, you don't see her son as well. My girlfriend's father, his name is Steve, he was with us. And so it was a real family outing. And while we don't know the people in the background to kind of get that answered out, there was a group of us that went fishing. And I really felt that this moment was important to capture because it gave me an opportunity to share with my son something that he won't get to experience. And that is, my dad passed away when I was 18, and he took me fishing a lot when I was a kid. We had many memories of going fishing with my father. And that was a memory that I wanted to pass on down to my son. And in doing and going on family fishing trips and participating in events that my dad participated in with me, it allows me to share a piece of my father with my son, which allows him to kind of live on his memory It allows my son to get to know who my father was, as well as get to know who his father is, and life that go ahead and influence us. That's why this memory was so important for me to capture, because while the photo itself is of just my son, there are people in the background that are obviously very important to me, and there are people who are not in the photo that are very important to me. I think that's what's really important to gather. And I hope that that is something that my son will learn as we continue to have these conversations and have these platicas as we move forward. After you have that conversation, you can go into the step 3 process where your student can then go ahead and write up the platica that they had and share that photo as well as the information that was displayed. I went ahead and I've already shared with you, so I've engaged with you in that platica. But this sentence frame that you can use with your students so that they can talk about what they learned from the photograph in terms of the details and what they first thought about the photograph. And after talking to whoever they talked to about the photograph, what they still learned, and then what wonderings they might still have, and why this is an important piece of their family's history. So you can see how this could be a really engaging project for our students. And I really enjoy this conversation because it allows for a couple of different things to take place. One, so we get all 3 steps of the platica right there, right? And we can use this platica in a couple of different ways. One, we can use it as an activity at the beginning of the year to kind of get to know our students and as we settle into different classes and things like that. And I think it's something that can be revisited over long weekends, over Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, and things like that, so that our students can really get an understanding of their own personal history and how what's going on in the world and in the States affects what's going on in terms of our personal histories and what's happening and what's taking place, as well as how those things dictate what to capture. Now that you've had an opportunity to participate in that platica, what are your thoughts of bringing this into your class? What history themes or ideas do you see being utilized? What issues do you see, or any kind of questions that you see? You have an opportunity to put this chat, and let's see what you guys have to say. A nice way to bring in photos into the history, to make history relevant to our personal histories. I like that. You know, not all of our students come from homes where they have a lot of photographs. Some of our students are foster kids. Some of our students are homeless, and so they may not have access to photographs, or maybe they have pieces of their past they're not particularly proud of, or they're not happy with who their family is. And I think that a couple of ways that we can be inclusive in terms of this kind of assignment and having those kinds of conversations is recognizing that family is not necessarily blood related. You know, I'm a foster youth by trade. I understand that plight. I not had very many positive memories of my mother or photographs of her. In fact, I don't have much access to photographs of myself when I was a kid. So those are kind of rare and hard for me to come by. But I definitely had people that mattered to me and were of great influence and were of great importance to me in terms of having those kinds of conversations and being able to have those conversations with those people. So I think if we expand our definition of family and to include people that matter and the people that influence and have had influence in our lives in a positive way, I think that that can help open up and be expansive of that. And I think that you can also change the nature of it so that maybe if we're not talking about a photograph per se, but maybe an object or something of value to them. And that could be a song, a lyric, a poem, a story, a toy, a doll, any one of those kinds of things. Having that same kind of conversation with that individual so that they can describe the value or the importance of that can really go ahead and bring about a very similar style type conversation and really go deeper with those things so that our students can unearth, discover pieces about themselves and about their families that matter to them. So again, this is Don Powell with the Riverside County Office of Education, sharing with you Platicas on family photographs out of the UCLA History Project. We think this is a really fantastic opportunity for us to learn about our personal histories, as well as to make those connections with greater events that are occurring within the world around us. And we hope that you take this opportunity to visit the UCLA History Project's page and check out some of the other great resources that they have. And thank you so much. And thank you to my good friend Cynthia Mata for going ahead and creating this opportunity for us.